again, my little yarnivores and spiderettes. Fiber Spider back again with the continuation of the crocodile stitch hat in the top-down version. And we are on round 6. And as I said in the previous video, the rest of this hat is relative gravy compared to what we had already done. So we're going to start right in. And where I left off was I finished round 5 and I did my slip stitch to the top third chain. Well, we need to sort of scoot over a little bit. So going to slip stitch into this chain space in between here, like so. Then slip stitch into the next 2 double crochets, slip and slip, and then slip stitch into the chain 1 space, and we are set up exactly where we need to be. So chain up 1, and then going to work with these 2 double crochets. Going to do 5 doubles down this one, and then 5 doubles up this one, and we're going to get to it. So going to, again, it's this one right here. This is where we slipped into. We're going to grab this one. So grabbing this one. I always do the little pinch. So going to do 5 doubles. 1. Oop, hello. 2. 3. 4. And 5, chain 1, and then turning and going around this next double crochet with 5 more doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, then into this next chain 1 space here, right here, slip stitch to lock it into place. And then we're going to work with this double crochet and this double crochet, but we're going to pinch from the opposite side and do our 5 doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, chain 1, and then grabbing the next double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and then I'm going to lock that one in place. So again, into this next chain space right here, slip stitch to lock it into place. And so as you can see, we already have 2 scales. And for this round, it's going to be one is in between the previous scales, and then one is going to line up with the previous scales. Okay? Because we just did our increase in the last round. So let's do a couple more, and then I will leave you to do the rest of the round on your own. So it's going to be around this double and this double, because where you do your slip stitch, this double and this double are out of bounds. So it's this one and this one. So grabbing it from the other side and do our 5 doubles. 2. Woo. 3, 4, 5, chain 1, then grabbing the next one right next to it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then we have to lock it into place in this chain space here. Slip stitch, lock it in. Okay, and then grabbing this one, and then we'll do this one. But first things first, grab this one, grab it, pinch, turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, chain 1, grabbing the next double crochet right alongside. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And again, into the next chain space right here, slip stitch, lock it into place. And really that's all you're going to be doing for the rest of this round. Just create your new scales and slip stitch in between to lock them into place. So your next scale, because we just did our slip stitch into this space, so it's going to be around this double and this double, these two right here, because again, when you have a slip stitch, the ones on either side of the slip stitch are out of bounds, okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the majority of this off camera, but I'll meet back up with you for the last scale and the slip stitch join. I'll be right back. See you in a bit. Okay, I'm almost done with round 6. At this point, I have 11 scales. I just need one more, and then round 6 will be done. And like I said, I was going to check back in with you and finish up round 6 together. All right, so last thing I did was my slip stitch. So it's going to be going around this post and this post for our last scale. So grabbing the scale from the other side, whoop, and pinch, and going around that post with 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, chain 1, and then around that next post with 5 more doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, now, last but not least, we need to do the slip stitch join into the base of this scale here. And again, I go underneath through here and pop right there. And just do our slip stitch. Got it. Okay. And there you go. That is the end of round 6. And like I said before, the rest of this is going to be gravy because there's no increasing at all involved, and it is going to be really quite simple. Also, of course, if you are of a mind to, this on its own, I think, would make a really cool little hot plate if you will. It's nice, it's textured, it's really thick. The only thing I would say, though, is use cotton. Don't use acrylic. Otherwise, if whatever it is that hot, it very well may melt your yarn. So yeah, use cotton. It's a good thing. Otherwise, yeah, I think that that would be a pretty cool hot plate trivet kind of idea. At any rate, this is going to be a hat. So let's continue on making a hat, shall we? Onwards to round 7. Okay. Okay, round 7. So for round 7, we're going to be doing another foundation round. However, we're not going to be doing any increasing, so it's going to be a lot easier than the previous ones. So to start off with, we're going to begin by chaining up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's going to count as our double crochet and chain 1 space. So into the middle here, in between our scales, double crochet, and that's our first foundation bit right there. Then in the middle of this scale, double, chain 1, double, double, chain 1, double. And then in between the scales, in that space there, double, chain 1, double. And then in the middle of the next scale, double, chain 1, double. And in between the scales, in that space, double, chain 1, double. And so we're not going to be increasing anymore because I found that 12 scales around for the circumference of the hat works out beautifully because it will end up to be 72 stitches. And for me, that just happens to work for my, head size. If you wanted to make this smaller for, a child, you could try to do the total of 6 scales, 6, crocodile scales. I don't know if that would work for a child's size. However, by all means, give it a go. So from here, going to go in between with a double, chain 1, double. And then in between with a double, chain 1, double. And that's really all that you need to do for the rest of round 7. It's easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And this is going to be your basic foundation round. And then next round is going to be a basic crocodile scale round, if you will. And it is so very easy. That's all you have to do for the rest of this round. Just whether it's in the middle or in between, just create your foundation V's, if you will. And then when you get to the very beginning, it's going to be a foundation V here in between, a foundation V in the middle, and then slip stitch to the top 3rd chain of the first V that you created. All right, and then I will meet back up with you for round 8, which is essentially the same, but a little bit different because the scales are not going to be in alignment anymore. They will be offset for the rest of the hat. Okay, so that being said, I will meet back up with you for round 8. Okay, see you in a bit. Okay, round 8. All right. And quite frankly, for the rest of the project, as far as the crocodile stitches are concerned, it's just a matter of repeating round 7 and rounds 8. Okay? So I left off at the end of round 7 by doing my slip stitch to the top 3rd chain of my first V. So from here, just have to slip stitch into the chain space and into the next 2 doubles and the following chain space so that we are exactly where we need to be. Slip and slip and slip. Okay. And then chain up 1. And we're going to be working into this double and this double. That's where we're going to be doing our next scale in between the previous scales. Like I said before, they are not going to be aligned anymore. They are going to be completely staggered from here on out. So grabbing our first double again, since we're in the middle here, this one and this one are out of bounds, these two. So it's this one right here. Grab it, pinch it, and do your 5 doubles. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Chain 1. Grabbing the next double. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, then into this chain space right here, slip stitch to lock it in. And then again, this double and this double are going to be the next scale. This one and this one out of bounds because we got the slip stitch in between. So grabbing this one from the other side, pinch it, snag it, grab it, whatever you want, and do your 5 doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, chain 1, next double crochet, 5 doubles, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, next chain space, slip stitch, lock it in. Okay, again, this one and this one, grab it, pinch it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, chain 1, next one over, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, slip stitch into the next chain 1 space, and continue on in this exact same fashion all the way around, creating your new scales. And at the end of this, you will have, again, 12 scales like we did previously, although they're going to be a little bit more spread out because we didn't just increase. So that's really pretty much it in a nutshell. But of course, I'm going to show you how to create a really nice ribbed edge at the bottom. Otherwise, I think it's just not finished, in my opinion. It's personal preference, personal opinion, but that is what I'm going to do and show you. So yeah, just keep on keeping on in the same fashion. Slip stitch, scale, lost the word there for a second. Slip stitch, scale, slip stitch, scale. Sure. I'm all tongue-tied. I'm tired, I'm sorry. So basically just keep on keeping on all the way around. And then when you reach the beginning, I'm going to meet back up with you for the last scale, okay? And we'll do the slip stitch join together, and I will give you instructions on how to proceed. Okay, I'll be right back. All right, so I'm almost done with round 8. I just have one more scale to go. I ended on the slip stitch. So again, around this post and this post, going to do my last scale. So grab it, pinch it, and do our 5 doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Chain 1. Around the next double, 5 doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, then last but not least, we need to do the slip stitch join right here. So going in from underneath, in between, underneath, and then up through right about there, and do our slip stitch. Okay, so from here, for the rest of the majority of the hat, what you're going to do is you're going to repeat rounds 7 and 8, round 7 being the foundation round, and round 8 being the scale round, until you have a total of 6 rounds where you have 12 of these scales. Okay, so we already have 12 scales in this round and 12 scales in this round. So you need to repeat rounds 7 and 8 4 more times. Okay, ending on a round 8. And then we will be able to do the ribbed brimming. Now, of course, if you want your hat to be more of a slouchy, if you will, I would say add more rounds. If you want it to fit, nice and flush with the top of your head, personally, it worked for me doing 6 rounds of the 12 scales. I keep losing the word scales, shingles, doodads, because it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we had the round with the 6 and the round with the 3. So 6 rounds where you have your 12 scales. And we will be ready for the ribbing, okay? So just repeat rounds 7 and 8 4 more times. Of course, the links are, the timestamps are in the description box down below. If you get lost, no problem. And I will meet back up with you when we are ready for the ribbing, okay? Get to work. I know that you can do this. I have every bit of confidence in you. You can totally do this. And I will see you in a bit, okay? Okay, be right back. All right, so after several repeats, the base of my hat is all finished, and now it's time for the 1x1 ribbing for our brim. Also, at this point, you might want to swap over to your smaller sized hook so that it comes together a little bit more so, and that the brim is a little bit tighter. So, scooting along from here, going to chain up 2. Actually, let me turn the work first. And going to chain up 2. You want to be a little bit loose on your chaining up of 2 so that it's easier to get into later. Then, very much like when we were doing the increasing, we're going to be working underneath the bars of these double crochets, and we're going to do 2 double crochets under each bar. So that's 1 and 2, and then 1 in the middle of the scale, and then 2 underneath the bar, the post of this double crochet here, and then 1 in between. Just double crochets. It's just a matter of how many and the placement. And then underneath this post here, 2 double crochets. And so right now what we're doing is we're creating the double crochet foundation for the ribbing. So then in the space in the middle, 1 double crochet. And then in the next 2 rounds, we're going to actually do the actual ribbing. But you need something to work off of first. So underneath this bar here, 2 double crochets. And then 1 in between. And then underneath the next bar, 2 doubles. And so on and so forth all the way around. So I'm going to do the rest of this round off camera. There's really nothing to it. And I will meet back up with you around the end, show you the slip stitch join and how to proceed with the actual ribbing. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, Craig, this looks kind of cattywampus. You know, it's like you've got clusters and so on and so forth. It evens itself out once we start doing the actual ribbing. These little clusters, if you will, they will sort of separate themselves out a bit. So not to worry, it will look just fine. Okay, so I'm going to keep working. I'll be right back and you get stitching. Okay. Okay, so I'm almost done with the first round of the brim. So I got my 2 in there. I just need 1 in the middle. And then I need 2 in here. Just scoot around that post with 2 doubles. And then this chaining up of 2 right in the middle, that counts as our first double crochet. So going to carefully go into that top chain there. It's a little bit fiddly, but I think that it's worth it because it looks, I think, a lot neater than doing a chain 3, which tends to look, I think, a little bit loose and a little bit sloppy. But ultimately, whatever works best. See, I got it. It just took a little bit of fiddling. So then do your slip stitch and shaboom. Okay, so that being said, from here, what you want to do is, again, chain up 2, and we're going to do a front post, back post ribbing. So around the first one, right here, skip this one. That's just to give us the height. That will count as a double crochet, but do not worry about this one that we are going up above. Now, this one right here, do a front post. So basically, we're going around the post from the back with a front post, double crochet. Next one, it's a back post. Okay, so going to go around the back. And so what the post is around the back there. And do your double crochet, your back post, double crochet, like so. Then a front post. And then a back post. And a front post, and a back post, and a front post, and a back post, etc., etc., etc. And I like to do 2 rounds of the front and back post to really sort of solidify the ribbing. And so that will give us about an inch, inch and a half of a brim. If you want more power to you. If you want less, then perhaps instead of doing 6 rounds of the 12 scales, maybe just do 5, totally up to you. But this is what I'm telling you because this is what worked for me. And hopefully it will work out for you just as well. So I'm going to do the rest of this round off camera. And I will meet back up with you to show you how you would proceed with the next round. And then that's it. Yeah, that is the rest of the hat. So give me one moment. I'll be right back and I'll see you in a few. Okay. All right, so I'm almost done with the first round of the ribbing, but of course I like to touch base with you guys. So we did the back post. Now we need a front post and a back post and a front post. And then, whoop, here we go. And then we have our initial chain 2, our air sets double crochet. So I'm going to slip stitch right into the top of that double crochet. And I call it an air sets double crochet because typically it is a chaining up of 3, but I just like this a little bit better because it's nice and it's compact and it totally works. So if you want to do more rounds, you would just chain up 2 and you would front post around the front posts and back post around the back posts. So let's do it. Front post. And it's a little bit easier the second round in because it's already established. So front post and then back post and front post and back post, front and back, and so on and so forth for the rest of the round. And when you're done, you would slip stitch to the top of that chain 2 and cut your yarn, sew in your end, and you too can have a really fun and funky crocodile stitch hat. Now, like I said, this is the top-down version, and I also have a bottom-up version as well. Actually, let me give you a quick peek. Oh, yeah, sorry, got it. All right, so this, let me get this one out of the way. I'm going to give you a quick peek at the bottom up version. And on this version, yeah, the scales go in the opposite direction. And what I did was, again, I went all the way up to the complete, the top, the crown, so that there isn't any sort of flatness going on, and there is decreasing involved so that it is fitted to the top of your head. It's not a slouchy, it's not cinched in any way, and it works out really, really nicely. So if you guys are interested in this rendition, the bottom up hat, please do let me know in the comments section and I can make that happen. And so that being said, I really hope that you liked this rendition. And if you did, please give a little thumbs up button down below. You know I appreciate your appreciation. And also check out my other videos because I'm always, making videos as often as I can, whether it's crocheting or knitting or audiobook narration, or of course my other YouTube channel, Fiber Spider Games, where I do video game playthrough and commentary. Lots of fun. Would love to see you there. And of course my Etsy store for some patterns and my Teespring store for merch and, all fun and games. It's all good stuff. So until next time, you know what to do. You stay inspired, stay caffeinated, stay stitching, and please stay safe. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you in my next video. Have a great day, everybody, and bye for now.